You want to survive long in Warzone, but let's be real, you're dying in the dumbest ways. You're getting caught in the open, no cover, no plans, it's driving you crazy. But I've got good news. Staying alive longer is way easier than you think. See, I've spent thousands of hours studying this, and I'm going to break down everything I've learned so you can stop being a free kill in the lobby. That's how you do it. Yo, what's going on today? It's your favorite COD coach. If this video helps you out, be sure to leave a like and comment. All right, so guys, for tip number 1, we're going to be talking about your landing zone. Now, like I mentioned in my previous video, the importance of your landing zone is going to be 1, do I have the potential to get weapons? And then 2, if I end up dying, do I have the potential to regain? Now, I'm going to go a little bit more in detail with it. The next thing I want to mention about this is going to be how can I maneuver throughout this landing zone? Now, I like Control Center for 2 reasons. 1, I can get a high amount of kills, and 2, there's a bunch of different ways that I can go in order to stay alive. If you notice right here, we have 3 different levels. You have the, well, actually 4 different levels. You have the top of the building, you have the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor, and you have the ground level. Now, the beautiful thing about this is on almost every single level, there's a window that you guys can end up hopping out of the window and potentially going to a different spot in order to get a different position on the enemies. Now, if you notice right here, I have the top of the building. I have a high ground position. It's easy to look down and kill enemies or get people that's actually flying out of the air. So that right there is going to be my tip for landing zone. So you guys definitely want to make sure that you're picking a good landing zone that 1, you're like highly familiar with, 2, you know where the crates and stuff are going to be at, and 3 and 4, like I said, you have the potential to regain, and you also have potential to get a lot of different weapons. So all right, so guys, for this next segment, we're going to be talking about 3 different tips: checking corners, using sound cues, and using your mini map to your advantage. These 3 tips play hand in hand with each other because you're going to use the sound cues to know where your enemies are at. You're checking your corners because you don't want to get shot in the back, and then you're using your mini map so you can know exactly where to go to next once you get a kill. Now, as you notice, there's like footsteps around me. I don't know exactly where they're at, but I know they're above me somewhere inside the building because I started off from the ground level. Now, when I get into the gunfight, that's the easy pick. This guy was exactly where I thought he was, on top of the building. Now, look at this. I killed his teammate. The second guy popped up on the radar. Obviously, I knew he was there already. And then the 3rd guy, he was at the bottom, which pinged, and he came up the zip line. Now, look at this. This is a final team. Or actually, I think this is a whole different team right here. But you get the point I'm making. This guy's pinging up on the radar, and I'm using my map to my advantage. And again, this plays in with the first tip that I mentioned, which is going to be your landing, knowing the area of the map, and knowing different ways that you can maneuver throughout the area of the map in order to get to the enemies faster, so you be able to get kills. All right, so guys, the next segment, we're going to be talking about your positioning. Now, when I say positioning, I want you to think about this. What is the best place on the map that I can go to where I'm going to be able to get easy kills, stay alive, and avoid as many gunfights as I possibly can, while being able to still kill people that are either landing in or around the area, which is going to be on top of a building. Now, you could be on top of the prison, you could be on top of the water tower, you could be on top of the lighthouse, you can be on top of a bunch of different places. But the key thing here is putting yourself in a position where you're at the high ground, or you're at a position to where the enemies have to come to you, so you're not running towards enemies trying to find kills, and getting shot in the back like these guys right here. They're fighting, I'm in a higher ground position, and it's just easy free pickings right here. So your position is very important. That's going to help you guys with getting more kills, and it's definitely going to help you guys with staying alive, especially whenever you get into those in-game situations. All right, so guys, let's be real. Everybody dies here and there, but what you guys don't want to do is what this guy right here is about to do. You see how he's just flying over the top of the prison? He knows that I'm at the prison, but he literally just flew over the top of the prison and pulled his chute. Now, if you're playing the position correctly and you're sitting on top of a building, then it's going to be a free kill for people like this that's flying back in, like left and right. So what you guys don't want to do is, whenever you land it back in, once you actually get eliminated, don't go back to where you died at unless you know it's safe. Your teammates are telling you it's safe to land. And 2, if you do go back to where you died at, don't pull your chute over the top of the building. Like, dive in as close to the ground as you possibly can, so that way you're actually able to stay alive. Now, for this next segment, we're going to be talking about picking your gunfights, and we're also going to be talking about using cover to your advantage. Now, As you guys notice, there's like at least 5 to 8 players on Nova's side of the map. Me being a tryhard person that I am, I want to go over there and try to get as many kills as I possibly can. But remember, we're trying to stay alive, so that's not the smart move. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my position to get kills, and I'm picking my gunfights by not going over there and actually attacking those kids head on by using my long range weapons to actually pick off people that are just straggling. Now here we have it. We have 2 people that's going to be pushing up towards me. They have absolutely no idea that I'm here. Now whenever you're picking your gunfights, you guys want to pick the person that is like the most distracted, the person that's the least threat to you in the situation right there. So as you guys notice, you got 2 people running the same way. I took out the first guy that I seen. I took out his teammate before he can even realize, and then I started shooting at the one that actually fell back in. So this tip right here is really good for actually staying alive, and it's really good for getting easier kills. And then I'm using cover to my advantage. I want you to think about this right here. Remember we talked about the mini map earlier. So whenever you use cover to your advantage, you got buildings, you got walls, you got doorways, you got all these different types of obstacles that you could use to your advantage. Right now I'm using positioning to my advantage, and I'm using the high ground to my advantage, because if you're looking from the window up at me, it's not an easy target because I can back up and then it seems like I'm on a head glitch. And this guy right here, you have those AC units on top of the building, you have the windows that you can use to your advantage. There's so many different things you guys want to use, but basically the point I'm trying to get at, whenever you guys are using cover to your advantage, you just want to make sure that you're putting yourself in a position where you have something between you and the actual people, you and the people that's in front of you, especially whenever it's like a medium to a long range gunfight. So right here we got the half wall. On control center you got the AC units and just things of nature right there. So that's gonna be right there for the using cover and for picking your gunfights. Now for the final segment of this video, since we really don't have that much time left, I'm gonna combine everything else that I actually have. So we're gonna be talking about plating up while moving, pre-aiming, knowing when to chow and when to regain, and last but not least, never stop moving. So first things first, plating while moving. So in this situation right here, if that guy would have pushed up on me and I would have had to move, I would have wanted to go behind the tent and use my plates while moving at the same time. That's important because whenever you put on your plates, obviously you're gonna have more health. 2, the enemy's not gonna expect it, especially whenever you're in an intense situation and they're like challenging you, you know, trying to get you out the game. And so yeah, that's the importance of plating up while moving. Pre-aiming, I mentioned in my previous video about you know, winning more gunfights and having better accuracy. Whenever you pre-aim in situations, the enemies are gonna walk straight into your bullets. And then last but not least, knowing when to chow and knowing when to regain, that kind of plays into plating. Whenever you're getting shot at, you don't want to push towards the enemies unless you have, I would say, at least 1 plate on. 2 plates is more ideal. But yeah, you guys want to make sure that you guys actually have a plate on before you reach out. Now if you're in a situation where you're getting chased by, you know, 2 people, 3 people, 1 person, that's if they're trying really hard, you don't want to reach out that situation. You want to run away, get to some type of cover, regain your health, and then use the cover to your advantage to actually win the gunfight. And then, like I said, man, the last tip that I have for you guys, especially whenever you're fighting multiple people, is never stop moving. That's probably like one of the most important tips that I have for you guys today. When you don't stop moving, you're always putting yourself in cover, you're always pre-aiming situations, you got the audio cues in your ear, you're using the mini map to your advantage. All these things play hand in hand, and at the end of the day, you practice these tips right here, and you're gonna get yourself a dub. That's exactly what we're gonna do here. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.